You now know how to send a notification message manually to a bunch of phones or manually to a single phone. You can even attach a little bit of extra data so that when the user opens the app, it will know that the app was opened from the FCM message. This is cool, but it's not really the use case we want for Squawker. For Squawker, we need something far less manual. We can't have somebody going into the Firebase console to send a squawk. What we likely want is a website that we make which allows instructors to send out squawks. So let's say that there is this website where instructors can send their squawks. Whenever and wherever an instructor enters a squawk, it then triggers the FCM server to update all the current client apps via message. Now, FCM was designed with this in mind. So we actually can design a Squawk server like this, and then there are protocols and libraries that let you send messages from a website that you make to the Google-controlled FCM server. FCM will then deliver these messages to your Android app like normal. Now, this isn't a course about web design, so I've made this awesome server for you. Okay, it's a prototype for testing purposes. There are two options. You can either send a direct squawk to a single device, or you can send a dummy message from one of our 5 instructors. Notice that the option to send to a single device uses that ID token. You're also going to need something called a server key. The server key is a little bit buried. Go back to the overview, which will look like this. Then go ahead and go to Settings. In Settings, you'll see a tab called Cloud Messaging. Here, you can copy this legacy server key. Now, going back to my Squawker server, I can paste in both my server key and the FCM token that I got recently, and I can go ahead and send a squawk. And I get this nice JSON, and I don't see any message. So this actually doesn't work yet. Why? As I mentioned, when the Firebase console sends a message to the FCM server, it sends what's known as a notification message, which looks like this. This has the added benefit that on the client phone, it makes a notification appear. FCM has another type of message, which you see here, known as a data message. The data message looks like this, with the key difference being that instead of saying notification here, it says data. Your app will react differently depending on whether it was sent a notification message or a data message. Notification messages display a message as long as the app is in the background. They have predefined key value pairs, such as this body key with the value hello world that you see here. This controls what the body of your notification says. You can also have optional key value pairs that go into the Intent Extras bundle, which is accessible when you launch the app from that notification. In this example, test is an example of one of those extra key value pairs. Also, notification messages can be sent from the Firebase console. Now, in comparison, data messages do nothing automatically. And what this means is that you're responsible for adding the code to process the data that comes in. It won't display a notification or anything like that automatically. Because data messages can do almost anything, they have whatever custom key value pairs you'd like to pass along. In this case, you can see some of those custom key value pairs. They look a lot like the data that you need for a single squawk. Note that as of now, data messages cannot be sent from the Firebase console, which means that you have to go to the hard work of coding up your own server to send data messages. There are a few more differences that I'll be adding to this list as we explore more about data messages versus notification messages. But first, let's see what we actually have to do to process this data message.